You wake up every day scrolling through your phone, watching other people win, and deep inside, you tell yourself, maybe I'm just unlucky. But let me tell you something that nobody wants to hear. You are not unlucky. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are the problem. Yeah, I said it. Not your environment, not your situation, not your past. You. Because every single day, you are making choices, small ones, silent ones, invisible ones. And those choices, they are building your future or destroying it. You say you want success, but you wake up late, you waste hours scrolling, you avoid hard work, and then you wonder, why am I not growing? You don't lack opportunity. You lack discipline. You don't lack knowledge. You lack execution. You don't lack time. You lack focus. That hurts, right? Good, because truth is supposed to hurt. Look at your last 7 days. Be honest. How many hours did you spend actually working on your goals? Not thinking, not planning, not dreaming, working. And how many hours did you waste? Scrolling, watching random videos, avoiding responsibility. See the difference? That's your answer. You keep blaming the algorithm. The algorithm didn't push my content. No, your content was not good enough. You blame your audience. They don't engage. No, you didn't give them a reason to care. You blame your situation. I don't have resources. No, you are not using what you already have. This is the brutal truth. Your life is a reflection of your habits. Nothing more, nothing less. Every excuse you make is just another reason you stay stuck. And the worst part? You know what you need to do, but you don't do it. That's not lack of knowledge. That's lack of courage. You're waiting for motivation, for the perfect time, for the perfect plan, for the perfect moment. Let me break it to you. That moment will never come. Success doesn't come when you feel ready. It comes when you move, even when you don't feel like it. Right now, there are people less talented than you, less experienced than you, less prepared than you, winning. Why? Because they act, and you hesitate. That hesitation is costing you your future. You don't need another course. You don't need another video. You don't need another strategy. You need to take action. Because at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to push you. No one is coming to fix your life. It's on you. And until you accept that, nothing will change.
You felt it, didn't you? That uncomfortable silence after hearing the truth. That moment where you stop scrolling and just sit there, thinking. Because deep down, you know I'm right. You know you've been avoiding your own potential. You know you've been choosing comfort over growth. You know you've been lying to yourself with excuses that sound good but lead nowhere. Let's go deeper. You don't fail because life is hard. You fail because you quit too early. Every time something gets difficult, you stop. You slow down. You distract yourself. You run away. And then you tell yourself, maybe this isn't for me. No, it is for you. But you're not willing to become the person who deserves it. Success has a price. Not money, not luck, discomfort. And most people are addicted to comfort. You want results, but you don't want the process. You want growth, but you avoid pressure. You want money, but you don't want responsibility. That contradiction, that's why you're stuck. Look at your habits again. Be brutally honest. Do you wake up with purpose, or do you wake up and grab your phone? Do you plan your day, or do you just react to whatever happens? Do you push yourself, or do you stop when it gets uncomfortable? Your answers are your reality. You don't need more time. You need better decisions. Because right now, you are training yourself to be average. Every time you procrastinate, you're building a habit of delay. Every time you avoid hard work, You're building a habit of weakness. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you're teaching your brain to never do it. And then you wonder, why am I not disciplined? Because discipline is not something you wait for. It's something you practice daily, relentlessly, without excuses. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. So if your habits are weak, your life will be weak. That's the reality nobody posts on Instagram. Let's talk about fear. You think you're lazy, but you're not. You're scared. Scared to fail, scared to be judged, scared to look stupid. So instead of trying, you stay safe. You stay quiet, you stay invisible, and you call it waiting for the right time. But let me tell you the truth. That's not patience. That's fear in disguise. And fear will keep you exactly where you are. Right now, you are one decision away from change. Not a big decision, not a life-changing moment, a small one. To wake up earlier, to work 1 extra hour, to stop scrolling, to start creating. But you don't do it. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. And you've trained yourself to avoid discomfort at all costs. That's the real problem. Not your skills, not your resources, not your background, your mindset. You keep waiting for things to get easier, but life doesn't work like that. You get stronger, so things feel easier. Read that again. You don't wait for life to change. You change, and life follows. But that requires effort, consistency, discipline, focus, things most people avoid, so they stay average, and then complain about it. But you're still here. You're still listening. That means something. It means part of you wants more. And that part, that's your potential. But potential means nothing without action. You can have the best ideas, the best dreams, the best plans, but if you don't move, none of it matters. So here's the question. How long will you keep lying to yourself? How long will you keep saying, "I'll start tomorrow"? How long will you keep watching others win while you stay stuck? Because every day you delay, you are falling behind. Not because others are faster, but because you are not moving. This is your wake-up call. Not tomorrow, not next week, not one day. Today. You either change your actions or you accept your current life. There is no middle ground.
Right now, you're standing at a point in your life where two paths exist. One is the easy path, comfortable, predictable, safe. And the other is the hard path, uncertain, painful, demanding. And every single day, you are choosing. Not with words, but with actions. You say you want success, but your actions say otherwise. You say you want freedom, but you stay stuck in habits that keep you trapped. You say you want change, but you refuse to change yourself. That's the contradiction destroying your life. Because the truth is, you don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. Read that again. If you tolerate laziness, you get average results. If you tolerate distractions, you get wasted time. If you tolerate excuses, you get a life full of regret. And slowly, day by day, you start becoming someone you never wanted to be. That's the scary part. Not failure, not struggle, becoming average without even realizing it. Look around. How many people do you see living the life they dreamed of? Very few. And how many do you see settling, accepting, surviving instead of thriving? Almost everyone. Because most people choose comfort over growth. They choose easy over necessary.
now over later, comfort over discipline. And those choices destroy their future silently. You don't wake up one day and fail. You fail slowly, one bad habit at a time, one excuse at a time, one delay at a time, until one day you look back and realize you wasted years. That's what you should be afraid of. Not failure, but wasted potential. Because failure teaches you, but regret destroys you. And right now, you're building one of two things: a future you're proud of or a life you'll regret. There is no third option. Let's be honest. You've had opportunities. You've had ideas. You've had moments where you could have started. But what did you do? You waited. You hesitated. You doubted yourself. And that moment, it passed. And another one came, and you did the same thing again. That's the pattern. Not lack of opportunity, lack of action. And until you break that pattern, nothing will change. You keep searching for motivation, but motivation is temporary. You feel inspired today, and tomorrow it's gone. So what do? You stop again. That's why motivation is a trap. Discipline is the real answer. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're bored. It doesn't care if you're not in the mood. It makes you do it anyway. And that's the difference between winners and losers. Winners act even when they don't feel like it. Losers wait until they feel ready. And guess what? They never feel ready. Right now, you are one habit away from changing your life. Not 10 habits, not a complete transformation, just one. Waking up earlier, working consistently, posting daily, learning instead of scrolling. One habit done every day can change everything. But you don't trust the process. You want fast results, quick success, instant validation, and when it doesn't happen, you quit. That's your biggest mistake, because real growth is slow, invisible at first, silent, unnoticed, until one day it explodes. But most people quit before that moment, and you've done it too. You started something, got excited, then stopped, again and again and again. That's why you're not stuck. You're inconsistent, and inconsistency kills progress. You don't need a new plan. You need to stick to one. You don't need more ideas. You need execution. You don't need luck. You need discipline. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not soon, now. Because the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. The habits get deeper. The comfort gets stronger. The excuses get louder. And before you know it, you're stuck for real. So ask yourself, are you ready to change? Not think about it, not talk about it, act on it. Because at the end of the day, no one is stopping you. Not your past, not your situation, not your resources, only you. Enough. Enough blaming. Enough waiting. Enough excuses. If you're still listening, this is your turning point. Not a motivational moment, not a temporary boost, a decision. Because everything changes the moment you decide that your current life is no longer acceptable. Right now, you have two choices: stay the same or become someone new. And let me be real with you. Becoming someone new is painful. It requires you to break your habits, kill your excuses, face your fears, and most importantly, face yourself. Because the biggest enemy in your life is not outside. It's the version of you that chooses comfort every single day. That version of you wants to scroll, wants to delay, wants to relax. And every time you listen to that voice, you lose. So what do? You fight back. Not once, not sometimes, every single day. This is where discipline is born. Not in motivation, not in excitement, in resistance. When your mind says, let's skip today, you say, no. When your body says, I'm tired, you say, do it anyway. When everything inside you wants comfort, you choose discomfort. That's the shift. That's the moment you stop being average and start becoming dangerous. Because average people follow their feelings. Winners, they control them. You don't need to feel ready. You need to act ready. You don't need confidence. You build confidence through action. You don't need perfection. You need progress. Right now, your life is built on patterns. Wake up, scroll. Think, delay. Plan, never execute. That loop, it's destroying you slowly. So what do? You break the pattern. You wake up and you don't touch your phone. You sit down and you start working immediately. You feel resistance and you push through it. At first, it will feel wrong, uncomfortable, hard, frustrating. Good. That means you're changing. Because growth never feels comfortable. And here's something most people don't understand. Discipline is not about intensity. It's about consistency. You don't need to work 10 hours a day. Start with one focused hour. You don't need to change everything overnight. Change one habit. Because small actions done daily create massive results. But here's the catch. You must show up even when you don't see results. That's where most people quit. They work for a few days, maybe a week. Then they say, it's not working. No, you didn't give it enough time. Success is delayed. You work and nothing happens. You keep working and still nothing happens. Then one day, everything happens, but only if you stay consistent. Right now, you are planting seeds, and seeds don't grow overnight. You water them daily, even when you see nothing. That's faith. That's discipline. That's growth. And one day, it will show, but only if you don't quit. Let's talk about identity, because this is the real shift. You don't just need to change what you do. You need to change who you are. Right now, you identify as someone who procrastinates, delays, avoids hard work. That identity is keeping you stuck. So change it. Start telling yourself, I am disciplined. I take action. I finish what I start. And then prove it. Not once, every day. Because identity is built through repetition. You don't become confident by thinking. You become confident by doing. You don't become successful by planning. You become successful by executing. This is your comeback. Not loud, not flashy, silent, focused, consistent. No more talking, no more waiting, just work. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares about your excuses. They care about your results. And now, it's your turn to build them.
Motivation fades. Discipline builds. But there's something even stronger than both. System. Because if you rely on motivation, you'll fail when you don't feel like it. If you rely only on discipline, you'll struggle when things get hard. But if you build a system, you don't need to think. You just follow. And that is where real power comes from. Right now, your life is random. You wake up and decide what to do. You feel something and follow it. You think something and change direction. That's chaos. And chaos never creates success. Winners don't rely on feelings. They rely on systems. Let me show you something simple. A person who wakes up and decides to work will fail. But a person who has a fixed routine will win. Why? Because decisions drain energy. Systems remove decisions. And when you remove decisions, you remove excuses. So let's build your system. Not complicated, not perfect, simple, repeatable, powerful. Step 1. Define your daily minimum. Not your maximum, your minimum. Because maximum depends on mood. Minimum defines consistency. Ask yourself, do the one thing I will do every day no matter what. Maybe it's 1 hour focused work, one content post, one skill practice. That's your baseline. No excuses, no skipping. Every single day. Step 2. Fix your time. Don't say, I'll do it later. Say, I will do it at 10 a.m. Because later never comes. Time creates structure. Structure creates discipline. Discipline creates results. Step 3. Remove distractions. Let's be honest. Your biggest enemy is your phone. Notifications, scrolling, endless content is designed to steal your focus. So what do? You control it. Turn off notifications. Keep your phone away. Work in silence. Because focus is your superpower. And right now, you're wasting it. Step 4. Track your actions. Not results, actions. Because results take time. But actions, you control them daily. Did you work today? Did you show up? Did you complete your minimum? If yes, you're winning, even if you don't see results yet. Step 5. Repeat. This is the hardest part. Not starting, continuing. Day after day, week after week, month after month. When it's boring, you continue. When it's slow, you continue. When you don't feel like it, you continue. That's the difference. Because success is not built in days, it's built in repetition. Let's go deeper. You don't need more information. You need implementation. Right now, you know enough to change your life, but you don't act. Why? Because you're addicted to learning, but avoiding doing. You watch videos, you read posts, you plan strategies, but when it's time to execute, you hesitate. That's the trap. Knowledge without action is useless. You don't get paid for what you know, you get paid for what you do. So, from today, shift your focus. Less consuming, more creating. Less planning, more executing. Less thinking, more doing. Because action creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence, and confidence creates results. It all starts with action. Let's talk about consistency again, because this is where most people fail. They start strong, full energy, full motivation. Then slowly, they fade. Why? Because they go too hard, too fast. They try to do everything at once, and when they can't maintain it, they quit. So, here's the smarter way. Go slower, but don't stop. Consistency beats intensity, always. If you can do something small every day, you will beat someone who does a lot occasionally. That's the secret. And now you know it. So, the question is, will you apply it? Or will you go back to your old habits, your old excuses, your old life? Because nothing changes until you change. And now you have the system. The only thing left is execution.
Let's talk about money. Because deep down, that's what you want, right? Freedom, independence, a life where you don't have to worry about every single expense. You say you want money, but your actions say something completely different. You scroll for hours, but you don't create. You consume content, but you don't produce value. You watch others make money, but you don't take action. And then you ask, why am I not earning? Here's the brutal truth. Money doesn't come from wishing. Money comes from value. Read that again. The more value you create, the more money you earn. It's that simple, but not easy. Right now, ask yourself honestly, what value am I creating? Are you helping people? Are you solving problems? Are you building something useful? Or are you just consuming, watching, wasting time? Because the market doesn't care about your intentions, it rewards results. You don't get paid for effort, you get paid for impact. That's why someone working 2 hours can earn more than someone working 12 hours, because it's not about time, it's about value. Let's break it down. A person who creates content that helps thousands earns more. A person who solves a real problem earns more. A person who builds something useful earns more. So the real question is not, how do I make money? The real question is, how do I create value? Because when you focus on value, money follows. But most people do the opposite. They chase money without building value, and that's why they struggle. You want to earn online? You want affiliate income? You want freedom? Then understand this. Nobody will pay you for doing nothing. You must earn attention. You must build trust. You must provide value. Only then you earn money. Right now, you are in the learning phase. You are building skills, understanding systems, trying things. But at some point, you must shift from learning to earning. And that shift happens when you stop overthinking and start executing. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start. Start posting, start creating, start promoting, even if it's bad, even if it's slow, even if nobody watches, because that's how growth works. At first, no one cares. Then, slowly, some people notice. Then one day, everyone pays attention, but only if you stay consistent. Let's talk about your mindset again, because this is where everything begins. Right now, you might think, I'm not ready. I don't know enough. What if I fail? That's normal. But here's the truth. You will fail. Not once, many times. Your first post might flop. Your first idea might fail. Your first attempt might not work. Good, because failure is feedback. It shows you what works, what doesn't, what to improve. But if you never start, you never learn. And if you never learn, you never grow. And if you never grow, you stay stuck. That's the cycle. So break it. Start now, not when you feel ready, when you decide to act. Because success is not for the smartest. It's for the most consistent. Not for the most talented, but for the ones who keep going. Right now, you are closer than you think, but you don't see it because you're not moving fast enough. Action reveals opportunity. Not thinking, not planning, action. So take it. Start small, stay consistent, build value, and slowly your life will change. Not overnight, but permanently. Because when you change your actions, you change your results. And when you change your results, you change your life.
You want money, but before money, you need attention. Because in today's world, attention is currency. No attention, no audience. No audience, no trust. No trust, no sales. It's that simple. And right now, you are invisible. Not because you're not good enough, but because you're not showing up. You think people will find you? No. You have to be seen. You have to show up every single day, even when nobody watches, even when nobody likes, even when nobody comments. Because in the beginning, no one cares, and that's normal. Every creator you see today, every successful marketer, every influencer, they all started with zero. Zero followers, zero engagement, zero results. But they had one thing: consistency. While you stop too early. You post once, maybe twice, then you say, it's not working. Of course it's not working. You didn't give it time. Content is not magic. It's repetition. You don't go viral with one post. You go viral after many. And most of those posts will fail. But each failure teaches you something. What works, what doesn't, what people like. That's how you improve. But you avoid that stage. You avoid being bad at the beginning. And that's why you never become good. Let's be real. Your first content will not be perfect. Your design will not be amazing. Your video will not be cinematic. And that's okay. Because perfection comes after practice, not before. So stop waiting. Start posting. Even if it's simple, even if it's basic, even if it's not perfect. Because action creates improvement. Let's talk strategy now. Because posting randomly won't work. You need direction. Step 1. Pick your niche. Not everything. One thing. For you, men's fashion, affiliate products, social media growth. Stick to it. Because when you focus, people understand you. And when people understand you, they trust you. Step 2. Create valuable content. Not random posts. Useful posts. Ask yourself, why would someone care? Does your content teach something, solve a problem, inspire action? If not, it won't work. Step 3. Use hooks. Because attention starts in the first 3 seconds. If your hook is weak, people scroll. So make it strong. You are the problem. Stop doing this if you want success. This is why you're not making money. Bold, clear, direct. That's how you stop the scroll. Step 4. Consistency. Not once a week, daily. Because the algorithm rewards activity, and attention grows with repetition. Step 5. Call to action. Tell people what to do. Follow, comment, click link. Because if you don't ask, they won't act. Now let's talk about growth, because this is where most people quit. At the beginning, growth is slow, very slow. You post, 10 views. You post again, 20 views, and you feel like giving up. But then, something happens. One post performs better, then another, and suddenly, you grow. But only if you stay consistent. Most people quit before that moment. That's why they never succeed, because they didn't stay long enough to see results. Right now, you are at the beginning, and the beginning is always hard. But if you push through, it gets easier, because your skills improve, your confidence grows, your audience builds, and slowly, you start winning. But it all starts with one thing: showing up. Every day. No excuses, no delays, because attention is built daily. And if you want to earn, you must be seen.
So now you understand something important. Attention alone is not enough. You can have views, likes, followers, and still make zero money. That's where most people get stuck. They grow an audience, but they don't know how to convert. And then they say, social media doesn't work. No, your strategy doesn't work. Because attention is just the first step. The real game is here. Attention to trust, to action, to money. Miss one step, you lose everything. Let's break it down. Step 1, attention. You post content, you grab attention. People stop scrolling. Good. But that's not enough. Step 2, trust. People don't buy from strangers. They buy from people they trust. So how do you build trust? By giving value, consistently. Teach something. Help people. Show results. Don't just sell. Serve first. Because when people trust you, they listen to you. And when they listen, they act. Step 3, action, CTA. This is where most people fail. They post content, but they never tell people what to do. So the audience watches and leaves. No click, no sale, because you didn't guide them. So always ask, what do I want them to do? Follow? Click link? Buy product? Be clear. Be direct. Because confused people don't act. Step 4, funnel. Now this is the real secret. You don't send people directly to product. That's beginner mistake. You build a path. Content, down to landing page, beacons or Google site, down to product, down to sale, money. This is called a funnel. And funnels increase conversion. Because instead of pushing people, you guide them. On your landing page, you don't just show links, you show options, multiple products, clear buttons, simple design. So the user feels comfortable, and when they feel comfortable, they buy. Step 5, offer. Even if your content is good,
Even if your funnel is perfect, if your product is bad, you won't make money. So choose wisely. Trending products, high demand, good reviews, because good product sells itself. Bad product destroys trust. Now let's talk about your mistake. Right now, you are trying to do everything without understanding the process. You post, but no CTA. You share link, but no funnel. You promote product, but no trust. And then you say, why no sales? Because the system is broken. Fix the system and results will follow. Let's make it simple for you. Your job is not to sell. Your job is to grab attention, build trust, guide action. That's it. The product sells itself. Now, imagine this. You post daily content, you build audience, you gain trust. Then you guide them to your landing page, and on that page, multiple products. User clicks, user chooses, user buys, you earn. That's the system. Not luck, strategy. Not random, structure. And once you understand this, everything changes. Because now, you're not guessing anymore. You're building a machine, a system that works even when you sleep. Content brings traffic, traffic goes to funnel, funnel brings sales. Repeat. That's how real money is made. But again, only if you stay consistent. Because one post won't change your life, but 100 posts might. One product won't make you rich, but the right system will. So now you know everything you need. The only question left is, will you apply it? Or will you go back to scrolling, to overthinking, to doing nothing? Because knowledge without action is useless, and action without system is chaos. But you now have both, knowledge and system. So what's missing? You taking action. Now you know the system. You understand attention. You understand trust. You understand conversion. But here's the next level, scaling. Because making your first sale is not the goal. Making consistent income and growing it, that is the real game. Most people stop too early. They get one sale, they get excited, then they slow down. And slowly, everything stops. That's the mistake. Because success is not built on one moment, it's built on consistency over time. You don't want random income, you want predictable income. And predictable income comes from systems plus scale. Let's break this down. Right now, you might be posting once a day. Good. But to scale, you need more output. Not random content, strategic content. Instead of one post, 3 posts daily. Different angles, different hooks, different styles. Because more content equals more chances to win. One post might fail, another might perform, another might go viral. That's how you grow faster. Next, platforms. Right now, you might be using one platform, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok. But winners don't depend on one source, they multiply. Same content, multiple platforms, one video, posted everywhere. More reach, more audience, more traffic. And more traffic means more money. Now let's talk about leverage. Because you don't scale by working harder, you scale by working smarter. Instead of creating new content every time, repurpose. One idea becomes 5 pieces of content. A video becomes short clips, Pinterest pins, Instagram posts, threads, captions. That's leverage. Less effort, more output. Now your system grows faster. Let's go deeper. Scaling is not just about content, it's about mindset. Because at every level, a new version of you is required. The person who makes $0 is different from the one who makes $1,000. And the person who makes $1,000 is different from the one who makes $10,000. So if you stay the same, your results stay the same.
Growth requires change, more discipline, more focus, more consistency, and less excuses. Because at higher levels, excuses don't exist, only results. Let's talk about patience, because this is where most people fail again. They want fast money, quick success, instant results, and when it doesn't happen, they quit. But real success takes time, months of effort, years of consistency, invisible work before visible results. That's the part nobody shows. They show success, but not the struggle. They show results, but not the process. And you compare your beginning to their middle. That's why you feel behind. But you're not behind, you're just starting. And starting is supposed to be hard. Now let's talk about focus, because this is your biggest advantage. Right now, you are distracted. Too many ideas, too many strategies, too many options, and that is slowing you down. So what do? You simplify. One niche, one system, one strategy, and you go all in. No switching, no jumping, no quitting. Because success doesn't come from trying everything. It comes from mastering one thing. Now imagine this. You stay consistent for 30 days, then 60 days, then 90 days, posting daily, building audience, driving traffic. What happens? Growth. Slow at first, then faster, then unstoppable, because momentum builds. And once you reach that point, everything changes. More views, more followers, more clicks, more sales. But only if you don't quit, because quitting resets everything. You go back to zero, and that's what most people do. They start, they stop, they restart, they stop again, and they stay stuck forever. Don't be that person. Be the one who continues, even when it's boring, even when it's slow, even when it's hard, because those moments build winners. And now you are close, closer than you think, but the final step is the hardest. Consistency without motivation. Doing the work without feeling like it. That's where success lives, and that's where most people give up. But you won't, because now you understand everything. The system, the strategy, the mindset. All that's left is execution.
This is it. No more parts, no more lessons, no more excuses. Just truth. You've heard everything. You've seen the pattern. You've understood the system. Now there's only one question left. What are you going to do? Because at this point, you don't lack knowledge anymore. You know what to do. You know what's wrong. You know what needs to change. So if nothing changes after this, it's not because you don't know. It's because you chose not to act. Let that sink in. Your future will not be decided by luck, will not be decided by others. It will be decided by your actions, every single day. The small choices, the invisible habits, the quiet decisions that nobody sees. That's what builds your life. Not motivation, not inspiration, execution. You don't wake up successful. You build it, day by day, action by action. And most days, it won't feel exciting. It will feel boring, repetitive, slow, good. Because that's how real success is built. Not in hype, but in discipline. Not in moments, but in consistency. You've been waiting for something, a sign, a push, a moment. This is it, right now. No perfect timing, no perfect plan, just a decision. To stop being the person you were and become the person you need to be. Because let's be honest, the current version of you, it's not working. It procrastinates, it delays, it avoids discomfort. And that version will never create the life you want. So what do? You kill that version. Not physically, mentally. You stop listening to that voice. You stop following those habits. You become someone new. Someone who shows up daily, takes action, does the work, finishes what they start. And that change starts with one decision. Not tomorrow, today. Because tomorrow is just another excuse, and you've had enough of those. Right now, you are standing at a line. On one side, your old life, excuses, comfort, delay. On the other side, your future, growth, discipline, success. And the only thing separating them is action. So take it. Start small, stay consistent, build your system, create value, and don't stop. Even when it's hard, even when it's slow, even when it feels like nothing is working. Because one day, it will. And when it does, everything you struggled for, everything you worked for, everything you stayed consistent for, it will pay off. Not instantly, but permanently. And in that moment, you'll look back at this version of you, the one who almost gave up, the one who doubted everything, the one who struggled. And you'll realize that was the moment everything changed. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. So remember this. You were never the victim. You were always the problem. And now, you are also the solution. No one is coming to save you. But you don't need saving. You need action. So go. Build your life. One decision, one action, one day at a time. And never go back to who you used to be.